You're stuck in traffic, already running late for an important meeting. Your phone buzzes with urgent messages, and the car in front of you seems determined to move at a snail's pace. Your blood pressure rises, your jaw clenches, and you can feel your entire day spiraling out of control. We've all been there. Those moments when life seems determined to test our patience, challenge our composure, and push us to our limits. But what if I told you that a group of ancient philosophers discovered a powerful approach to handling these exact situations, one that not only helps you stay calm, but actually turns these daily frustrations into opportunities for growth? These philosophers were the Stoics, and their wisdom has guided everyone from Roman emperors to modern CEOs through life's most challenging moments. Their teachings aren't just ancient history, they're practical tools that can transform how you handle every challenge, from traffic jams to difficult conversations, from workplace stress to personal setbacks. Ready to discover how these timeless insights can revolutionize your daily life? In our modern world of endless notifications, mounting responsibilities, and constant pressure to perform, we often find ourselves searching for a better way to navigate life's challenges. The answer might surprise you. It lies in the wisdom of philosophers who lived over 2,000 years ago. The Stoics weren't just abstract thinkers, they were practical guides who developed tools and techniques specifically designed to handle life's daily trials. Consider Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being the most powerful man in the world, faced the same fundamental human struggles we do today. As emperor of Rome, he dealt with betrayal, loss, and the weight of immense responsibility, yet he maintained his composure and wisdom through it all. Or Epictetus, who rose from slavery to become one of history's most influential teachers, showing us that our circumstances don't define our response to life. These philosophers weren't interested in complex theoretical arguments. Instead, they focused on answering one essential question: how can we live better, more fulfilling lives in the face of constant challenges? Their answer was surprisingly straightforward: by focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot, and developing the wisdom to know the difference. The beauty of Stoic philosophy lies in its simplicity and practicality. Whether you're dealing with a difficult colleague, facing financial pressure, or simply trying to maintain peace of mind in a chaotic world, Stoic principles offer clear, actionable guidance. These aren't just ancient ideas, they're living tools that have been proven effective across centuries, cultures, and circumstances. Today, we'll explore how to apply these timeless teachings to your daily life. We'll break down complex philosophical concepts into practical strategies you can use immediately. From morning routines that set you up for success to evening reflections that help you learn and grow, you'll discover how Stoic wisdom can transform your approach to every challenge you face. Imagine you're stuck in heavy traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your hands grip the steering wheel tighter as anxiety builds. You check the time again, feeling your stress levels rise with each passing minute. But ask yourself, what exactly is within your control in this situation? This brings us to one of the most powerful concepts in Stoic philosophy: the dichotomy of control. As Epictetus wisely taught, some things are within our power, while others are not. This simple yet profound insight can revolutionize how we handle every challenge we face. In that traffic scenario, you can't control the number of cars on the road, the speed of traffic, or the timing of traffic lights. But you can control your response to the situation. You can choose to inform your colleagues you're running late. You can use the time to mentally prepare for your meeting. You can even practice acceptance of the circumstances, saving yourself from unnecessary emotional turmoil. The Stoics understood that much of our daily stress comes from trying to control things beyond our influence. Think about how often we worry about the weather, other people's opinions, or past events. Epictetus put it perfectly when he said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." This doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up. Instead, it means focusing our energy where it can actually make a difference. When facing a project deadline, for example, you can't control if your computer crashes, but you can control maintaining regular backups. You can't control if a colleague delivers their part on time, but you can control how well you communicate and plan for contingencies. Consider your relationships. You can't control how someone feels about you, but you can control how you treat them. You can't control whether someone keeps their promises, but you can control your boundaries and responses. This distinction becomes incredibly liberating once you truly understand it. The key is to regularly ask yourself, is this something I can influence? If yes, take decisive action. If no, practice acceptance. This simple practice can dramatically reduce anxiety and increase your effectiveness in daily life. As Epictetus reminds us, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. As the first light of dawn breaks, consider how Marcus Aurelius began his days nearly 2,000 years ago. Each morning, before Rome stirred to life, he would take time to prepare himself not just for the day's tasks, but for life's inevitable challenges. Today we'll explore how to create our own morning ritual inspired by Stoic wisdom. Begin your day by waking up a few minutes earlier than usual. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Take 3 deep breaths, grounding yourself in the present moment. Like Marcus Aurelius, remind yourself that you're about to step into a world that isn't always aligned with your preferences, but one that offers countless opportunities for growth. In his Meditations, Marcus wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This wasn't pessimism, but preparation. By anticipating challenges, we can meet them with grace rather than surprise. Start with a brief morning meditation. Focus on what truly matters today. Ask yourself, what virtues will I need? Perhaps patience during your morning commute, courage in that important presentation, or wisdom in handling a difficult conversation. Set clear intentions for how you'll embody these virtues. Next, practice gratitude. Notice the simple gifts around you: the warmth of your bed, the fresh morning air, the ability to begin anew. The Stoics believe that appreciating what we have guards against the dissatisfaction that often clouds our days. Now, review your upcoming day through the lens of the dichotomy of control. What events can you influence, and what must you accept? Write down your key priorities, focusing on what's within your power to accomplish. This clarity of purpose will serve as your compass throughout the day. Before you step into your daily responsibilities, take one final moment to remind yourself of your core values. As Epictetus taught, every challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate what you've learned. Your morning preparation isn't just about planning, it's about strengthening your character for whatever the day may bring. Imagine you're stuck in heavy traffic. Your heart rate increases, your jaw clenches, and angry thoughts flood your mind. This is a reaction, an automatic, unconscious response driven by emotion. But what if there was a better way? The Stoics understood that the gap between stimulus and response is where our freedom lies. Consider Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. The key difference between responding and reacting lies in that precious moment of pause, the space where wisdom can enter. When we react, we're slaves to our impulses. When we respond, we become architects of our behavior. Let's explore this through a common scenario. Your colleague takes credit for your work during a meeting. The immediate reaction might be anger, perhaps even the urge to publicly confront them. But a Stoic response begins with that vital pause. Take a breath. Remember that your colleague's behavior reflects their character, not yours. Consider what virtuous action would look like in this moment. The Stoics developed practical techniques for maintaining composure. First, practice the pause. When faced with a triggering situation, count to 10. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice your breath. This small gap breaks the automatic cycle of reaction. During this pause, ask yourself, is this within my control? What would the wise person do? Another powerful technique is perspective shifting. When someone cuts you off in traffic, imagine they're rushing to the hospital. When a client sends an angry email, picture them dealing with personal struggles you know nothing about. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it helps maintain our equilibrium and choose more constructive responses. Remember Marcus Aurelius's teaching: choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about understanding that our interpretation of events shapes our experience more than the events themselves. By practicing mindful response instead of knee-jerk reaction, we maintain our tranquility and make better decisions. Every obstacle in your path is a chance to practice virtue. This was one of the core principles that guided Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. When we fully embrace this perspective, our daily challenges transform from sources of frustration into opportunities for growth. Think about that project deadline that seems impossible, or that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The Stoics would view these not as burdens, but as gifts, opportunities to demonstrate courage, creativity, and resilience. As Seneca noted, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Consider the entrepreneur whose business faces unexpected competition. Instead of viewing this as a threat, they could see it as an opportunity to innovate, improve their services, and better serve their customers. The obstacle itself becomes the path to improvement. Or imagine losing your job, a situation many would consider purely negative. The Stoic perspective invites us to ask, what doors might this open? What skills could you now develop? What new directions might you explore that were previously impossible? Every setback contains within it the seeds of advancement. Here's a practical strategy when facing an obstacle. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, what virtue can I practice through this challenge? Second, how might this situation be serving my growth? And third, what opportunities are hidden within this difficulty? This simple practice helps shift your perspective from resistance to engagement. The key is to train ourselves to see obstacles not as walls, but as weights in a gym, each one making us stronger. As Epictetus taught, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to prove this wisdom true. When your computer crashes before saving an important document, that's an opportunity to practice patience and adaptability. When someone criticizes your work, that's a chance to practice humility and discernment. Even being stuck in traffic can become an opportunity to practice mindfulness and acceptance. Remember, nature often hides her greatest gifts behind her greatest challenges. The diamond forms under pressure, and our character develops through adversity. By viewing obstacles as opportunities, we don't just overcome them, we transform them into stepping stones toward our best selves. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast canyon, feeling small yet connected to something immense. This is the perspective the Stoics teach us to maintain, even in our most challenging moments. When your morning coffee spills or your colleague snaps at you, remember that you're part of an ancient, endless cosmos that has witnessed countless such moments. Consider what Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations. Look back over the past, all those many changes of dynasties. And you can foresee the future too. It will be completely alike, incapable of deviating from the rhythm of the present. Our daily troubles, which often feel so enormous, are mere ripples in an infinite ocean of time. When faced with a frustrating situation, zoom out mentally. Imagine viewing your current challenge from a mountaintop, then from an airplane, then from space. Does that urgent email still feel so urgent? Does that person's thoughtless comment still carry the same weight? This cosmic perspective doesn't diminish your experience, but rather puts it in its proper context. The Stoics understood that human nature remains remarkably consistent across time. Your anxieties, fears, and frustrations were felt by countless others before you and will be felt by countless others after. There's something deeply comforting in recognizing that you're not alone in your struggles. Practice what the Stoics called the view from above. When caught in a moment of stress or conflict, pause and imagine observing yourself from a distance. See yourself as just one of billions of humans, each dealing with their own challenges. This mental exercise instantly broadens your perspective and reduces emotional reactivity. Remember Epictetus's wisdom: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your boss's criticism, your partner's mood, or that missed opportunity, these events gain or lose significance based on the perspective you choose to adopt. You always have the power to step back and view things through a wider lens. By maintaining this broader perspective, you'll find that many of your daily challenges naturally shrink in significance. Yet paradoxically, this same perspective can help you engage more effectively with what truly matters. When you see your place in the grand scheme of things, you're better equipped to focus your energy on what you can genuinely influence. Imagine losing everything you have right now. Your phone stops working, your car breaks down, your favorite coffee shop closes permanently, and your closest friends move away. How does that make you feel? This practice of deliberately contemplating loss is what the ancient Stoics called negative visualization, and it's one of their most powerful tools for cultivating gratitude and resilience. Let's try a simple exercise. Take a moment to think about someone you care about deeply. Now, imagine they're no longer in your life, not to indulge in sadness, but to fully appreciate their presence right now. This is what Seneca meant when he said, "We never appreciate what we have until it becomes what we had. Think about your daily conveniences: running water, electricity, a warm bed." The Stoics teach us that by regularly contemplating life without these comforts, we transform them from expected entitlements into daily gifts. Each morning shower becomes a luxury, each meal a blessing, each conversation with a loved one a precious moment. But negative visualization isn't about fostering anxiety or dwelling on worst-case scenarios. Instead, it's about building psychological resilience while deepening our appreciation for the present. When you regularly practice facing potential losses in your mind, actual setbacks become easier to handle. You've already rehearsed them. Consider your current job, home, or relationship. Imagine losing them not through catastrophe, but through life's natural changes. Feel the discomfort, then open your eyes to see them still there. This mental practice builds both gratitude for what you have and the strength to handle whatever changes may come. Marcus Aurelius practiced this technique daily, reminding himself that everything is borrowed from nature and can be reclaimed at any moment. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. By acknowledging life's impermanence, we learn to hold our blessings more gently while appreciating them more deeply. Remember, the goal isn't to live in fear of loss, but to live with full awareness of life's inherent uncertainty. This awareness doesn't diminish joy, it enhances it. Each moment becomes more precious precisely because we understand it's not guaranteed. In this way, negative visualization becomes a powerful tool for positive living. As your day draws to a close, the ancient Stoics believed this was the perfect moment for deep reflection and honest self-examination. Just as Marcus Aurelius wrote in his evening reflections, we too can use this quiet time to review our actions, decisions, and growth with clarity and purpose. Begin by finding a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, what challenges did I face today? How did I respond to them? Did my actions align with my principles? Remember, this isn't about harsh judgment, but about understanding and improvement. Consider the moments when you maintained composure and when you lost it. What was different about these situations? Epictetus taught that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Look at today's events through this lens. Where did your interpretations help or hinder you? Examine your interactions with others. Were you patient, kind? Did you speak with intention or react from emotion? Note both your successes and areas for growth. As Seneca advised, the spirit ought to be brought up for examination daily. This isn't about perfectionism, but progress. Think about the opportunities you encountered today. Did you approach obstacles as chances for growth? Were there moments when you could have applied Stoic principles but forgot? Don't berate yourself for these oversights. Instead, visualize how you might handle similar situations tomorrow. Focus on what you learned today. Perhaps you discovered a new trigger for emotional reactions or found a strategy that helped you maintain perspective. These insights are valuable stepping stones on your journey. Write them down if you can. The act of recording helps cement the lessons in your mind. Look ahead to tomorrow with intention. What challenges might you face? How can you prepare for them using the Stoic principles you're learning? This forward-looking reflection helps bridge today's lessons with tomorrow's opportunities. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, every sunrise brings a new chance to live according to our highest principles. End your evening review by acknowledging your progress, however small. Remember that the Stoic path is not about perfection, but about continuous, mindful improvement. Tomorrow is another opportunity to put these teachings into practice. In our daily lives, resilience isn't just about bouncing back from major setbacks. It's about developing the strength to handle life's constant stream of challenges with grace and wisdom. True resilience, as the Stoics understood it, is built through consistent practice and deliberate action. Think of resilience like a muscle that grows stronger with each workout. Every time you face a challenge, no matter how small, you have an opportunity to strengthen this muscle. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when your coffee spills, when a colleague criticizes your work, these aren't just annoyances, They're training grounds for emotional strength. The key to building lasting resilience lies in what Epictetus called the pause, that vital moment between event and response. Start by practicing this pause in low-stakes situations. When something minor goes wrong, take a breath. Notice the immediate urge to react and let it pass. This simple practice, repeated daily, builds the foundation for handling larger challenges. Remember, the Stoics taught that it's not the events themselves that cause our distress, but our interpretation of them. When facing a setback, ask yourself, is this truly as catastrophic as it feels? What would Marcus Aurelius make of this situation? This shift in perspective immediately lessens the emotional impact and builds your capacity for measured response. Another powerful practice is what Seneca called voluntary discomfort. Deliberately place yourself in mildly uncomfortable situations. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, or walk in the rain without an umbrella. These small challenges teach your mind and body that discomfort is temporary and manageable. Consistency is crucial in building resilience. Start each day by reminding yourself that challenges will come, and welcome them as opportunities for growth. When difficulties arise, treat them as personal trainers, there to strengthen your resilience. Each challenge overcome adds another layer to your emotional armor. Most importantly, understand that building resilience is a gradual process. There will be days when you handle difficulties with stoic calm and days when you struggle. Accept both with equal grace. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Each setback, each moment of difficulty, is another opportunity to practice and grow stronger. View your daily challenges through this lens of opportunity. The difficult colleague becomes your teacher of patience. The delayed project becomes your lesson in adaptability. The spilled coffee becomes your reminder to maintain perspective. This is how resilience is built, not in grand moments, but in the small, daily choices to respond rather than react. Picture this: you're in a heated argument, your heart racing, words ready to explode from your mouth. Now imagine having the power to transform that surge of anger into calm clarity in mere moments. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. And the ancient Stoics left us a practical blueprint for doing exactly that. Let's start with a technique the Stoics called cognitive distancing. When emotions run high, pause and name what you're feeling. I notice I'm experiencing anger rather than I am angry. This subtle shift creates space between you and the emotion, allowing you to observe it rather than be consumed by it. Think of your emotions like weather patterns passing through the sky of your mind. Just as clouds don't define the sky, temporary emotions don't define you. When frustration bubbles up during your commute or anxiety strikes before a presentation, acknowledge these feelings without judgment. As Epictetus taught, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. One powerful practice is the preemptive perspective technique. Before entering potentially triggering situations like a difficult meeting or family gathering, take a moment to remind yourself people will act according to their nature, not my preferences. This mental preparation helps neutralize emotional reactions before they begin. When strong emotions arise, employ the widened lens approach. Step back and ask, will this matter in a month, a year, 5 years? This broader perspective often reveals the temporary nature of our emotional storms. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, most of what we react to so intensely is ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Practice the reverse empathy method when dealing with difficult people. Instead of focusing on how someone's actions affect you, consider what pain or fear might be driving their behavior. This shift from judgment to understanding naturally cools heated emotions and opens the door to constructive solutions. Remember, emotional management isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about responding wisely rather than reacting blindly. When you feel overwhelmed, use the bracketing technique. Mentally step outside the situation and observe it as if watching a scene in a movie. This creates emotional distance and clarity, allowing you to choose your response rather than being driven by impulse. The key to mastering emotions lies in consistent practice. Start with small daily irritations: a delayed email response, a misplaced item, an interrupted task. Each is an opportunity to practice emotional regulation. Over time, these small victories build into an unshakable foundation of emotional resilience. Creating lasting change isn't about dramatic transformations, it's about small, consistent actions that compound over time. The Stoics understood this deeply, recognizing that true growth happens through daily practice, not occasional bursts of motivation. Let's build your Stoic routine one block at a time. Start with a simple morning practice before checking your phone or diving into emails. Take 3 deliberate breaths and remind yourself of what you can and cannot control today. This takes less than a minute, but sets a powerful tone for the day ahead. Next, choose one Stoic principle to focus on each week. Perhaps this week you'll practice the dichotomy of control, next week emotional distancing, and the following week negative visualization. By focusing on one concept at a time, you prevent overwhelm and allow each practice to truly sink in. Time blocking is essential for sustainable habits. Identify specific moments in your day for Stoic practices. Your morning commute becomes time for reflection. Lunch break becomes an opportunity to practice gratitude. The walk to your car after work becomes a moment to review your responses to the day's challenges. Remember, Epictetus's wisdom progress is made through repetition, not intensity. Start with just 5 minutes of focused practice daily. It might seem insignificant, but consistency matters more than duration. 5 minutes daily outweighs an hour once a week. Create environmental triggers for your practices. Perhaps your coffee mug becomes a reminder to practice presence, or your computer password includes a Stoic principle. These subtle cues help embed Stoic thinking into your daily routine without requiring additional time or effort. Track your progress, but focus on process over results. Note how often you remember to pause before reacting, rather than judging whether you reacted perfectly. Celebrate small wins. Each moment of conscious choice is a victory, regardless of the outcome. Build a support system for your practice. Share your journey with others, join online communities, or start a Stoic study group. Having others to discuss challenges and insights with helps maintain momentum when motivation naturally ebbs. Remember, setbacks are not failures, they're opportunities for practice. When you forget your morning reflection or react impulsively to a challenge, simply note it without judgment and return to your practice. The path to wisdom isn't linear, but each return to practice strengthens your foundation. As we conclude our exploration of Stoic wisdom, remember that these ancient teachings aren't just philosophical concepts, they're practical tools for transforming your daily experience. The principles we've discussed, from the dichotomy of control to evening reflection, have stood the test of time because they work, offering concrete solutions to modern challenges. You now have the fundamental tools to begin your own Stoic practice. Start small, perhaps with the morning preparation ritual or the simple practice of pausing before reacting. Remember that every challenge you face is an opportunity to apply these principles and grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your journey with Stoicism is unique and personal. Some practices will resonate more strongly than others, and that's perfectly fine. The key is to begin, to take that first step toward a more reasoned, resilient approach to daily life. As you incorporate these teachings into your routine, you'll likely notice subtle but profound changes in how you respond to life's challenges. Take what you've learned here and put it into practice today. Share your experiences with others, learn from their journeys, and remember that every master was once a beginner. The path to Stoic wisdom is walked one step at a time, and that first step begins now.